peace, prosperity, and love, beautiful people. Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the Black and African diaspora in material of socioeconomics, politics, religion, and so forth. The centrality of this podcast is immersive empathy, introspection, deep thought, soul-serving conversation and communication, all in the light of unlocking the keys to vulnerability and transformation. During our time together, we will engage in topics related to mental and spiritual health experiences, the intersectionality of mental health and creativity, identity and culture, and any and all things related to healing from trauma, gathering insights, cultivating a deep sense of knowing, and repairing soul wounds. In the essence of communal love and collective consciousness, let us open our minds, lighten our hearts, settle our spirit, access soul intelligence, and affirm the richness of our humanity. Peace, love, and blessings in abundance to all of you. We're back for another episode of Gracefully Imperfect. I am Brotha KD, and I am so grateful and so honored to be here with all of you. This podcast is designed for those who are seeking to just enhance their vulnerability, their expressiveness, personal and collective transformation, one conversation at a time. Ever since this podcast has started, which is actually going on 5 years now, I've been extremely grateful for the amount of feedback and support that I've been getting. And this is not a sponsored podcast where there's funding and a whole network that's providing infrastructure. However, it is ours. And until we reach that point of material success, we're going to keep doing the work. We're going to keep showing up, and we're going to continue to be models and be encouraging and be empowering along this journey of evolution, transformation, liberation, and healing. But I really do appreciate all of the feedback that I've been getting from the people that I've connected with on Instagram, people that I've connected with via Facebook, now that I'm on Facebook now, emails that have poured in to Brotha KD at liberationsocialwork.com. And I'm really seeing a lot of really great feedback from various people from different walks of life. In particular, the comments that I get about my willingness and my openness to be vulnerable, to be honest, to not have any type of restraint when it comes to speaking from the depths of my soul. And again, if you've seen this podcast, I started this podcast because I wanted to document my growth, my transformation, the ebbs and flow of expansion and constriction for my children. And then that in and of itself, it became more than just a documentary style podcast for my children. It evolved into, well, let me widen this and broaden this, especially now that I am a Afrocentric social work scholar and I'm an avid reader, I'm an avid researcher. I was like, I might as well bring all of that together into this platform. And so I have experienced nothing but positivity, nothing but love, nothing but deep, deep and profound um, connection through this podcast. And I truly, truly hope that you find the joy, you find the meaning, lessons learned, best practices, nuggets of wisdom for yourself, for your loved ones, and anybody who is in community with you within your social orbit. If it's not for you, I understand. But pass it on to somebody else who you think could benefit from this podcast. Right on. So for today, I originally came into this space not knowing what this podcast was going to be about. I got to be honest. Um, However, I said that I am in the season of consistency. I'm in the season of pursuing purpose with passion and passion with the energy and the spirit of creativity. So I came here just saying, I'm going to let the spirit move me, y'all. That's what I said. And most of the time, that's what happens anyway. I don't come in here with an agenda. I don't come here with notes. I don't come here with anything typed on the prompter, on the teleprompter. No. I come in with my full self, all of my layers. However, though, I do want to speak on this Afrocentric scholarship because I have opened up a bunch of different initiatives and programs through mental and creative liberation, which that's my company's name, Mental and Creative Liberation. And then under mental and creative liberation, there is a framework that I've developed called Liberation Social Work. And through both of these entities and framework, both through the entity and through the framework, I have developed some projects. You have Gracefully Imperfect, the podcast. You have the Creativist newsletter, which is what I write poetry, I write essays, what have you. You also have this Afrocentric self-knowledge curatorial project through buymeacoffee.com. I think it's Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me Coffee or Buy Me a Coffee. Um, Nevertheless, um, I have developed a project that centers around African centered history, concepts, ideas, philosophies, in order to really create this paradigm shift from us, from those of us, or many of us, who are still confused and lost and wandering and trying to figure out all the layers of our identity and still trying to figure out who we were, what happened to us, what we where we are now and where we're going. I want to help foster that type of self-knowledge. And so, in that particular project, I am highlighting various warrior scholars. I originally started with Brother Amos Wilson, my favorite. Yes, I'm saying it loud and proud, my favorite. I study him all the time. I listen to him all the time. I read his literature all the time. I could not get enough. And so I started with him, highlighted highlighted his intellectual curiosities, his intellectual teachings, his particular perspective and position on the African centered perspective. And then I embedded resources for people of African descent or what have you to begin their self discovery process. The next one, master teacher, master educator, John Henrik Clark. I had to highlight him. He's one of the greatest Afrocentric historians ever. And there's many, many more. But in particular to John Henrik Clark, I wanted to highlight and spotlight his impact on African world history, his impact on Africana studies, and how his mission and pursuit of knowledge stemmed from him seeking Africa within himself. It was a personal journey that became prolific. And within that same post, I have embedded multimedia resources for one to begin their self knowledge, self discovery process. And then just recently, I highlighted and spotlighted Marimba Ani, an anthropologist, an Afrocentric anthropologist, who brought to our attention the cultural, historical, creative, and spiritual connection between Africans in the diaspora and the Africans who still reside on the landmass that's called Africa. And she highlights particularly the African world view. It's not something that, you it's not a document. It's not a piece of literature. It is something, it is psychogenic. It is psycho-spiritual. It is something that's deeply embedded, deeply rooted, and she highlights the different components and elements that make up a worldview. We all have one, by the way. We all have one. And so she teaches us the traditional, indigenous African worldview. And moreover, she also teaches us how to analyze and examine European cultural thought and behavior. And she gives us a framework that reflects African logic. She uses Swahili words to highlight um, three aspects. Three aspects: the Utamawazu, the Utamaroho, and the Sili. These three aspects of examining culture. The Sili is the cultural seed, the main thrust for the culture. The Utamawazu is the cognition, and the Utamaroho is the emotions effect and the effect. And so I highlight all that and then embed multimedia resources for one to get better acquainted with the material, especially since reading is not for everybody. Reading is a skill set that is, I would say, since the creation and the development and proliferation of digital technology and now AI, that it's a lost art and a lost skill. So, with my understanding of that, I wanted to not inundate the post with book readings, even though I think a bibliography would be extremely helpful and valuable. So I took it to YouTube. And these are the same lectures that I've listened to and I still listen to. I recycle them all the time. And so I really hope that from this particular project, the Afrocentric Self Knowledge Project, that you find what you're seeking, that you unearth the seeds that will unlock your potential and your potential and your purpose. And so I have these things going on. And again, it's all interconnected with Gracefully Imperfect, with creativists, liberation social work, the big business of mental and creative liberation. It's all connected. When I set out to continue this pursuit of Afrocentric scholarship, the first person to inspire this was Malcolm X. Malcolm X was asked by a very ignorant um, white interviewer about what gives him the legitimacy and the authority to speak about the plight and the oppression of Black people. This white man was trying to humiliate Malcolm X because he already knew that Malcolm X did not graduate from a college or a university. Malcolm X responded not in anger, not in rage, not in over explaining, but he said this very thing that sticks with me to this very day. My alma mater is books. And that's when I understood that the real education is not in a classroom. It's not you being associated with a department or a college or a school, or you have a degree program that that you've been matriculated in, and you have your course sequence and you're working towards, whether it's a bachelor's, associate, master's, PhD, or even if you're going to school for a particular specialized trade. All of that is all of that provides a level of training, a level, an aspect of education, an aspect of enhance and increase knowledge. But the real thing really happens when you are outside of those infrastructures and those systems, and you are picking up books. You are reading them. You know what I'm saying? Like you are legitimately have the curiosity to dig into philosophies and teachings and concepts and psychology and history, astrology, and what have you on your own merit, through your own volition. And that's what he taught me. He taught me to be hungry for more. There's a saying, very famous saying by Marcus Garvey, he says, a people without knowledge of their past history, origins, and culture, it's like a tree without knowledge. It's like a tree without roots. A people without knowledge of their past history, origins, and culture, it's like a tree without roots. And we all know that roots are extremely powerful. They are the stabilizing force, they are the regenerative force, they are the healing force. They are connected through fungi networks that connects to other trees that provides nutrients and support. It's their communication channel. It's their nurturing channel. And so I wanted I wanted to strengthen my roots. And the only way that I knew about the only way that I knew that I could do it is that if I just started investing in reading. So Afrocentric scholarship, he over here started with Malcolm X pointing me to where I need to start looking. Marcus Garvey taught me that I need to reconcile the severance between me and my ancient past history. And then there was Dr. Amos Wilson. I got introduced to Dr. Amos Wilson actually by accident. It was by accident. I was I was reading a textbook called Black Psychology by Thomas Parham, Joseph White, and I forgot the other psychologist. And they quoted Dr. Wilson. And so I took it to YouTube just to see if there was any videos. And lo and behold, this brother was busy in the early 90s up into his passing. He lectured and spoke everywhere. And when I started listening to him, he spoke about historiography. And he spoke about how that that learning history is not just about glorifying people and events and situations. It's about pulling from it seeds of knowledge and wisdom to be applied to the problems of today and to build a world that is tasteful for our children and their children and so forth. So he helped shape or reshape and reconstruct my understanding of how to study history. Not just to know names and not just to know places and not just to know events, but to pull from it what it is that we need to learn from good, bad, the ugly, the indifferent, no matter what it is, to pull from it what it is that can help propel us forward in today's world and into the future. And so I decided, I was like, well, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. I want to continue this legacy of Afrocentric scholarship, Afrocentric research, pedagogy, writing. I also was introduced to Molefi Asante Kofi, uh, the brother who coined Afrocentricity. And even in his book, he says that he did not invent Afrocentricity. Afrocentricity was already established. What he did is that he helped and facilitated the institutionalization of Afrocentricity. And for those who don't know what Afrocentricity is, that's fine. Afrocentricity is us as African people from various ethnic and cultural backgrounds and geographical regions being able to center and locate ourselves within any human area, human domain, human um, situation. So, in essence, it is, if we're talking about music and dance, we are searching for the music and dance of our ancestors and our contemporaries, whether it be in West Africa, whether it be the Zulu dances or what have you. If we are talking about psychology, We're not looking for Freud and Skinner and Erickson. We're looking towards, we're looking at, you know, Joseph White. We're looking at W.B. Du Bois. We're looking at various Black liberation luminaries who were not psychologists per se, but their philosophies, their teachings, their speeches, their um, particular perspective help reconstruct a damaged and fractured consciousness. So that doesn't mean that we don't take in nothing else, but what we need to do is, because since we've been marginalized and taught that our history, our culture, and our heritage is invaluable, that we are unintelligent, that we are not civilization builders, that we have to begin to first locate ourselves in any and everything that we are experiencing. And so Afrocentricity gave me that framework for locating and centering and being able to seek out the strengths and capabilities and capacities of our people in ancient time to present day. And I've always just been a naturally curious kid. I always question things, even when those questions seemed a bit burdensome. I remember, I'll just tell this one story. I remember when I had a bunch of questions about the Bible, in particular Adam and Eve and the procreation process, and not just the procreation, like what led to all of us being here. Are we the descendants of Adam and Eve? And I had all these questions. And I finally got to sit with the pastor. I had to be like no more than 12. And the pastor didn't know how to deal with the question. And you know, it was it taught me right then and there that the importance of going out and going get and to go get it. And so even though the pastor didn't answer my questions per se, mostly, he was very he diverted. I mean, he didn't know. Or if he knew, he just didn't want to, he didn't think it was appropriate to inform a 12-year-old or 11-year-old. Neither here nor there. It taught me the power of going out and getting my own answers, and to being resourceful and confident and patient in the process of unearthing what I am seeking to know and what is knowable. And so here we are, and we're still learning. In the words of the great Neely Fuller, rest in peace and rest powerfully and peacefully. I am still learning. I am still learning, and I can't wait to see where the continuous search and study and embodiment of Afrocentric psychology, history, healing traditions, ancient history, not just history, but ancient history, talking about BC and prehistoric, because I also look into that, African-centered principles and value systems, African worldview. Can't wait to see how all of this really comes full circle. And again, I am still piecing. It's so much. It's a tapestry. It's an interconnected web, and there's so much depth with each strand. So continue to keep supporting. Again, I freelance. I'm not a part of an institution. I'm not a part of a research institute. I'm not, I don't have, there's no fellowships. I do this because of my love and my passion and my commitment. And so when I'm sitting here and I ask for donations or what have you, it's because I'm doing this as a community focused endeavor for the rest of my natural life. And eventually, we will get to a point where there will be material wealth, and we will be able to create wealth with other families, and we will build systems and infrastructure to building wealth and to creating jobs and building cooperative economics. And I can't wait for that. Until then, I'm gonna continue to keep doing the work with the ancestors, holding me down, holding me up, whispering in my ear. I will continue to follow the divine will of the Creator, and I will continue to be in rhythm and in harmony with our heritage. I hope you continue to support, and if you're new, I really hope that you look towards me as your Afrocentric social work scholar as we continue to get closer to the source of knowing, being, becoming, and doing. Thank you so much. Peace, blessings, and revolutionary love. I'll talk to you all soon. Alafia, Hotep, one love.